Good morning to the Osceola County Jail. Are you able to, the clerk has advised me that you're not able to see us, although I could see you all. Are you able to see me? All right. Do you need to see me I mean, I could see you all. I could see you're wearing a black mask. I don't know. Some people want to see me, and some people are okay with not seeing me. It's up to you. I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Trying to figure it out.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, counsel for the state who's present, state your name, announce who you represent, and then I'll have the assistant public defender do the same thing.
Daniel Horn for the state of Florida.
Were you able to hear him? All right, excellent. All right, and then counsel for the public defender's office. All right, thank you. To those of you who can hear me for initial appearances, when I call your name, come on up to the podium. If you can't afford an attorney, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. We're here to set conditions of release in the case. I'll advise you what the charges are, and then I'll tell you what the conditions of release are. Most of you have conditions of release. If a capias had been issued, I don't have the ability to change the capias amount. If it's a violation of probation, I don't have the ability to change the bond amount. If it's an arrest warrant, I'm required to consider setting conditions of release, even if it's different than what the arrest warrant said. Let's see. I'm going to ask the clerk a question here, but I think I know the answer. You don't have the next court dates, right? No. Okay. Right. So the first case is Daniel Morel Pena. Apparently, it's an interpreter.
So you will use the
all right.
box.
Apparently, there's a button here that I'm supposed to press here.
So on the right box, you will see the little arrow. Just say the arrow.
The transfer.
No, you're going to add one.
Add. Okay, got it. All right.
Sorry, plus.
Interpreter. All right. Let's go.
Call. You got to push the green button to call. Okay. You should come in.
All right. We'll see if this works.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Interpreter. The interpreter has not been sworn in yet today.
All right, you can remain seated or standing. The clerk will swear you in.
It's on swear to translate from English to Spanish to English the testimony given today.
I do.
Okay.
Sir, are you Daniel Morel Pena?
¿Es usted Daniel Morel Peña? Yes, correct.
All right, you have two cases today. One is a case where it's an on-view violation of probation, and the other is a arrest warrant case. We'll talk about it in a moment.
Usted tiene dos casos el día de hoy. Uno de ellos es por incumplimiento del régimen de probatoria y el otro es un arresto por causa de una orden de arresto.
Can you afford an attorney, or do you need me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
¿Tiene usted el dinero para poder contratar a un abogado particular o necesita que yo le nombre un defensor público? If you could appoint me a public defender.
All right, thank you. The new offense is an allegation of aggravated battery and a child abuse.
El nuevo delito del que se le acusa es de agresión agravada y de maltrato o abuso de un menor.
Pretrial services, does Mr. Morel Pena have any prior criminal history? All right, we'll find out if the interpreter was able to get all that.
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. The interpreter got the first part, which is aggravated battery, previous aggravated battery, which was
and the second was child abuse.
Okay. And the third was contempt of court. Okay. Bueno, los antecedentes penales que tiene este acusado es de agresión agravada de un caso anterior, pero los casos fueron tumbados o desestimados. También como caso anterior tiene un cargo anterior por maltrato o abuso de menor, y también tiene un caso por desacato con la misma víctima.
All right, your bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. The bond on count 2, $150.
Las fianzas que se le asignan es como sigue. Para el cargo número 1, la fianza es de $2,500 y para el cargo 2 es de $150.
No contact with the victim.
Prohibido el contacto con la víctima.
Abide by any injunction where you're the listed respondent.
Obedecer cualquier orden de alejamiento que esté en vigor donde usted sea el demandado.
You're not allowed to go to the victim's residence
Le está prohibido ir a la residencia de la víctima.
and not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms.
Le está prohibido poseer armas o armas de fuego.
And then on the on-view violation of probation, the jail will hold you at no bond until your lawyer goes in front of the judge assigned to the case to try to get you a bond.
Y en el caso del que se le acusa de incumplimiento del régimen de moratorio, usted continuará detenido sin fianza hasta que su abogado pueda presentarse delante del juez encargado del caso para tratar de solicitar una fianza.
All right, do you understand, sir?
¿Entendió? Yes, correct. Your Honor, by any chance, is there a case number for this case? I know sometimes there isn't, but just check.
All advertising.
Let's see, 2020 CF 3521A.
Thank you.
And then on the VOP, hold on a second. 20 CF 1205. Can you, all right, thank you, sir. And to the interpreter, can you inquire about anyone else speaking Spanish?
Yes, Your Honor. Si hay alguien que necesita un intérprete en español, levante la mano. Levante la mano si necesita un intérprete en español.
All right, the interpreter can have that gentleman come on up.
Venga, señor, venga. Román Marrero.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
¿Cómo se llama usted? José Román Marrero.
Let's see. Your date of birth, September 18th?
¿Su fecha de nacimiento es el 18 de septiembre? No, January 20th.
Okay, hold on a moment.
Un momento entonces.
This is not on, he's not on time, the second, that's eligibility, what's the next one?
Oh, this one? Okay. You said January 20th, is that correct?
Dijo 20 de enero. Yes, of 1989.
Thank you, sir. The allegations are that you committed a burglary to an unoccupied vehicle and also grand theft. Can you afford a lawyer? Do you need the services of the public defender?
Bien, las acusaciones en contra suya es de cometer allanamiento con fines delictivos de un vehículo que no tenía pasajeros, desocupado, y también de hurto mayor. ¿Necesita usted que se le nombre un defensor público o puede contratar un abogado? Public defender.
All right, the public defender's office will be appointed to represent you. The bond on count 1 is $2,500. The bond on count 2 is $1,000. Do you understand?
Bien, entonces voy a nombrarle a los defensores públicos para que lo representen. La fianza en el primer cargo es de $2,500 y la fianza para el segundo cargo es de $1,000. ¿Entiende? Yes.
All right, thank you. Is any other
Muy bien,
interpreter
gracias.
cases? Thank you. Sir, are you Angel Robles?
¿Es usted Ángel Robles? Yes.
Can you afford an attorney or do you need the services of the public defender?
¿Tiene usted dinero para contratar un abogado particular o necesita un defensor público? Public defender.
They'll be appointed to represent you. The allegation is that you committed an assault. There's probable cause to believe the offense occurred.
Muy bien, se le nombra un defensor público entonces. La acusación en contra de usted es por amenaza o intimidación y sí existe motivo fundado para creer que usted cometió el delito.
All right, pretrial services, if you could tell us about any prior criminal history, keeping in mind we have the interpreter up to keep up.
Los antecedentes penales del señor Robles son que la última condena que él tuvo fue un fallo condenatorio fue en el 2004. Agresión agravada, traficar con heroína. Posesión de cocaína, allanamiento con fines delictivos, hurto. Pues pudimos hablar con la víctima y ella no quiere tener contacto con él.
Yeah, go ahead. Right. I'll let the interpreter catch up.
Bueno, su señoría, tengo un alegato quiero presentar un alegato en cuanto a motivo fundado, si me lo permite. Sí, adelante. En el affidavit no veo ningún acto donde describa o manifieste que haya un peligro de daño inminente. Sí, es cierto que la víctima expresó temor, pero uno de los elementos para esta acusación, aunque ella dijo que él tenía la manera de llevarlo a cabo, no dio ninguna explicación de en qué manera es que él lo llevaría a cabo, no hubo ninguna explicación de cómo el acusado lo haría.
All right, anything else before I hear from the state?
Lo que pediría es que si se determina entonces que no existe motivo fundado, que se le permita salir bajo palabra al acusado.
Anything from the state?
Your Honor, just that the police.
You can stay seated so you're closer to the microphone if you're more comfortable.
Just that the police report states that the defendant did get in the victim's face and made threats to hurt her. Your Honor, if you don't find probable cause, the state would ask for 24 hours to get a more accurate report from the officer.
Bueno, su señoría, lo que queremos dejar saber es que en el informe de la policía se indica que el acusado pues se le puso cara a cara o enfrente de la cara de la víctima y le hizo amenazas a causarle daño. Entonces, si su señoría determina de que no existe motivo fundado, pediríamos que se nos dé 24 horas para tratar de conseguir un informe más exacto del oficial.
All right, thank you. I find that there is probable cause, notwithstanding the argument. The bond is $1,000 with the following special conditions. You'll be
Muy bien,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Determinó que sí existe motivo fundado, la fianza es de $1,000 y hay condiciones especiales como las voy a describir ahora.
Once you post the bond, you'll be on pretrial release with the following conditions: maintain separate residence, don't possess any weapons or firearms, and have no contact with the victim, and you're not allowed to go back to the victim's residence.
Muy bien, si usted logra salir pagando la fianza, entonces estaría bajo el Departamento de Libertad Provisional con las siguientes condiciones. Tiene que vivir en una residencia aparte o por separado a la víctima. Le estaría prohibido poseer armas o armas de fuego. Le estaría prohibido el contacto con la víctima y le estaría prohibido regresar a la residencia de la víctima.
All right, do you understand?
¿Entendió? Yes.
Right, you'd be allowed to return one time with law enforcement, but the way that works is you have to contact law enforcement. They'll meet you somewhere other than the property, and they'll accompany you to the property to collect belongings. If you go directly to the property, when the law enforcement gets there, they're just going to arrest you.
Bien, voy a permitirle regresar a la residencia una vez acompañado de las autoridades para recoger algunos artículos personales, pero la manera como eso funciona es que usted tiene que llamar a la policía o las autoridades primero y ellos se van a encontrar con usted en otro lugar que no sea la residencia y luego lo acompañarían a la residencia para que usted recoja esos artículos. Si usted se encuentra con la policía en la residencia, entonces lo que van a hacer es que lo van a arrestar.
All right, thank you. All right, any other interpreter cases? Yes.
Your Honor, I apologize. I didn't hear the bond amount.
1,000 plus pretrial release with those conditions.
Thank you, Judge.
No hands? All right, thank you all. To the interpreter, we'll come back to you in a little bit for the Orange County cases.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Next case is Rafael Agudelo. The allegations are that you fled and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated and reckless driving. There's probable cause to believe the offense has occurred. Can you afford a lawyer or do you need the public defender's office? All right, thank you. Pretrial services, any prior criminal history? All right, thank you. The bond's going to be $2,500 on count 1 and $150 on count 2. All right, thank you. 2,500.
And 150
Yeah. Next case is Joseph Barwick. The allegations are you committed a burglary of an unoccupied vehicle and also a petty theft. There was an arrest warrant for that. Can you afford an attorney or do you need the services of the public defender? They'll be appointed to represent you. I'm reading the arrest warrant. Give me a moment. All right, yeah, the bond is going to be $3,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. Also, no return to the location of the incident. Do you understand? All right, thank you. Oh, and another case. So you want us to do a separate dispo in 2020 CF 646 indicating that Mr. Barwick is in custody on that case. So he's earning credit on that case? Well, can't you all just have a hearing in front of Judge Wooten to figure out, oh, I'm sorry, it's not going to be Judge Wooten, I think that's Judge Nix, to figure out at what point in time this order Yeah, but this, if I remember correctly, I mean, it's been 6 years since I've been in a regular criminal division. What this is that the bondsman files a motion to get off the bond because they recognize Mr. Barwick would have been in custody in some other jurisdiction on another case, even before the arrest warrant had been executed on Mr. Barwick in that 2020 CF 646, and then the bondsman agrees to pay for the transportation costs. It doesn't mean that the warrant had been served upon Mr. Barwick. Sometimes what happens, it just means they get off the hook and don't have to, they're not responsible for making sure that Mr. Barwick gets to the Osceola County Jail. So, I mean, if you want, we can do an order that says that in this 2020 CF 646 that Mr. Barwick is remanded into custody on that case, so it's clear he's earning credit as of today. Yeah, so do you want me to do a dispo or do you want to take no action on it? Okay, we'll do a dispo on 2020 CF 646. Thank you.
Just type out a blank order, Judge, because I don't have this in blank order.
Yeah, the blank order is fine. Just say he's remanded in custody on that case number as of today. Can I go? Are you ready for me to go on to the next one? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, Elaine. Or Alan, sorry if I mispronounced your first name, last name Cassagnol. All right, you're in custody on an out-of-county warrant from Polk County. My understanding is if you can't afford a lawyer, I can appoint a lawyer to represent you here, and they'll be temporarily appointed until you get to Polk County. Do you want that? Say that a little bit closer to the microphone. Yeah, well, I can't let you just transfer the case to Polk County, but what can happen is Polk County is going to be told to come and get you, and they'll get you in the next couple days. Do you want to have a lawyer representing you until then? All right, I'll do that. I'll appoint the public defender. Thank you. That's all. Mark Crichton is the next case. Here, Mr. Crichton. Mark Crichton. All right, thank you. Mr. Crichton, you're in custody on a capias that was issued when you allegedly failed to appear in a criminal traffic case. The bond is $1,000. Do you already have a lawyer representing you, or do you need me to appoint the public defender? Were you able to hear the question, sir? All right, Mr. Crichton, you're in custody on a capias that was issued when you failed to appear for court. The bond is $1,000. Do you already have a lawyer representing you? It's for a DUI case. All right, I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. They might have already been appointed, but we can't tell. But we'll at least appoint you temporarily now, keeping in mind that if you were permanently appointed before, that still stands. All right. The next case is Patrick Daniels. The allegations are you possessed with intent to sell cocaine and you possessed drug paraphernalia. Does Mr. Daniels have any priors, pretrial services? All right, thank you. I'm going to stay the bond at the $7,500 and $500. I know oftentimes the pretrial services or clerk asks me if I'm going to do anything about the VOP or on the probation case. I don't do anything on the probation case. I know you all normally let probation office know that there's been a new offense. I'm looking at the clerk, but I'm really talking to pretrial services. I know you all let probation know and they can determine whether they want to file a violation or not. Thank you. Next case is Anthony Gonzalez. The last case? Yes. Mr. Gonzalez, you have a couple cases here. You have a trespass on school grounds and the resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those offenses. And then you have a separate case where there was a warrant that had been issued for burglary of a structure. Hold on a second. They didn't send that one? Okay. Maybe we can pull it up. All right, hold on one moment. This is one that we didn't get the capias, but I have Smart Bench here, or the equivalent of Benchmark.
I do have a copy if you need one as well.
If I can't pull it up here, I'll borrow your copy. Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Actually, have they assigned that one a case number? The arrest warrant?
Yes.
What's that case number?
Kenny, CF 2802. Oh, wow. Okay, 2802.
Yeah, but here. All right, I see the state filed an information, burglary of an occupied structure, criminal mischief, petty theft, and trespass. So I have to make sure that there's only going to be... what's it? Anthony James Gonzalez. All right, I'm reviewing the affidavit right now. All right, so in the first case, the resisting without violence and the trespass on school grounds, the bond is $500 on each count, plus don't return to the school. And then on the arrest warrant, the bond is $2,500 on count 1, and then $100 on each of the remaining 3 counts. And I'm going to leave it at that. Can you say that a little bit louder? Thank you, but after seeing the affidavit for arrest warrant, reading that and seeing that there's a very similar case that just picked up on that Bill trespassed on school grounds, I'm not going to do it, although that doesn't mean your office can't go in front of the judges assigned to the case and see if they'd be willing to do that, but thank you. The next case is Cheryl Hayes. Ms. Hayes, you have 2 different cases. You have a trespass case, there's probable cause, and then a battery. And then there's a probable cause for the battery. I'm about to hear about any prior criminal history for me to set the conditions of release. Up until this point, you've been held at no bond on the battery. Pretrial services? Did you say he's in the room and he's requesting contact? But he... Oh, right. Right. So that's are you, Ms. Hayes, are you asking, with regard to the case where you're the listed victim, are you asking for contact too? In reverse? A little bit louder. Well, you don't need to go into the facts of the case, although I'm sure the prosecutor would love to hear it. But with regard to whether or not you're concerned that the other gentleman will have violent contact with you, are you concerned about that? Right. So, both of these people were arrested. Do you have a position on the contact?
I have no objection if they want contact, Your Honor.
That's right.
No, Your Honor, I don't have an objection.
All right, so I'm going to order, okay, so on the trespass, the bond is going to be $500. On the battery, the bond is going to be $500 plus pretrial release. No hostile contact with the victim. Don't possess any weapons or firearms. No hostile contact means no more contact with the victim than the victim allows. You don't have to have any contact with the victim if you don't want to. But if he's okay with you being around him and you're okay with that, then that's perfectly fine, so long as it's not hostile. And we don't want to see either one of you listed as a defendant or victim in any case in the future. You understand? All right.
And just pretrial release on the TV?
Yeah. Just bond plus pretrial.
Bond plus pretrial.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Patrick Howell. Mr. Howell, you're in custody on a no bond warrant for your arrest for a violation of probation. Your lawyer would have to go in front of the judge assigned to the case to try to get you a bond. Can you afford a lawyer? A little bit louder. You're so tall, you're so far away from that thing. So. One more time, a little bit slower though.
I have a private attorney.
You have a private attorney. Very good. Okay. So lots of times private attorneys don't come to court on a VOP since the IA judge doesn't have the ability to change the bond anyway. They just have to go in front of the judge assigned to the case. So they know what they're doing, I'm sure. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Jason Krygier, last name Krygier. When you get to the podium, tell us the correct pronunciation of your name. Krieger. All right. So there's probable cause for disorderly intoxication, disorderly conduct, although close being in a motel room. But the pretrial services, does he qualify for straight pretrial release? Does, okay. So can you afford a lawyer, or do you need the services of the public defender? All right, they'll be appointed to represent you, even though you don't have to post money to get out of jail. There's still a pending case, and you're not allowed to return back to that motel. Do you have any stuff there? All right, allowed to return one time with law enforcement. You'll contact law enforcement that has jurisdiction over the property. They'll tell you how to go back with law enforcement. If you just go directly back to the hotel, they're going to arrest you. You understand? All right, thank you. Yes. Jarvis McFadden. Mr. McFadden, you're wanted out of Brevard County. The total bond is $50,000. Brevard County will be told to come pick you up. Do you want me to temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you? A little bit louder. Oh, the clerk just told me my math is wrong. Oh, it's 50,000 plus 25 plus 15, 90,000. And then, so because I was listening to the clerk and I don't want to miss what you said, can you just repeat it?
Total bond.
Yeah, 90,000, right? I don't have I'm out of county. I don't have. Well, I'll leave it at the 90,000. Okay. So if you can't post it, Brevard County will pick you up. They're supposed to pick you up within 2 business days of being told to come and get you. So you should be there in the next couple of days. If not, you get brought back in front of the judge in Osceola, and they sometimes will let people go. Or they'll hold you again and let Brevard County know. So I don't know what will happen. But usually they're pretty good. We want you out of our jail. We want you over in Brevard County. So we do our best to get them to get you. All right, thank you. Or you can post the bond. The next case is Jose Ramos. All right, well. All right, so we'll leave it. We'll roll them over till tomorrow. There is probable cause for the offense, though. Next case is Garrett Rosamond. Can you afford a lawyer? Do you need the services of the public defender? All right, thank you. There's probable cause of an aggravated assault, a battery, and a criminal mischief. Now I'm about to hear about prior criminal history for me to set conditions of release. Oh, well, this is the co-defendant case. You heard about that the co-defendant is okay with you having contact with her, and you heard pretrial services tell you that they heard that you were okay with the victim, with the other person having contact with you. Would you agree with all of that? All right. All right, pretrial services, any prior criminal history? Thank you. All right, so your bond on the case will be $1,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2. The next count 3 will be reduced to $100. After you post the bond, you'll be on pretrial release with the condition of no hostile contact with the victim. Do you understand? All right, thank you. Next case is Edward Sanford. Edward Sanford, you're taken in custody on a capias that was issued after you allegedly failed to appear. The bond is $2,000. Do you already have a lawyer representing you? Yes? Okay, thank you. Next case is Richard Santiago. Mr. Santiago, you also, as the co-defendant in your case, had a fleeing and attempting to elude. Any prior criminal history with regard to Mr. Santiago? All right, and so I'm going to set your bond at I understand you qualify, but based upon the facts, I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. All right, thank you. Next case is David Spear. Sir, Mr. Santiago, can you afford to hire your own attorney? All right, I'll put the public defender. Thank you. Next case is David Spear. All right, thank you. There's probable cause to believe a petty theft occurred. Pretrial services, is Mr. Spears coming up? Does he qualify? Well, tell me about any prior criminal history. Does he qualify for a straight pretrial release? Oh, got it. All right, so your bond's going to be $250 and no return to the mobile. Thank you. Can you afford a lawyer, or do you need me to appoint the public defender? All right, they'll be appointed to represent you. Next case is Cleother Stoudemire. All right, there's probable cause to believe the offense occurred. We'll roll it till tomorrow. Dennis Wilson. All right, this case is another one. They don't have the warrant, so let me pull it up. It'll just take a moment. Hopefully the clerk has the case number.
Your Honor, for the warrant?
Yeah, do you at least have the case number, and I can pull it up that way?
Yes, Judge. There's no court number, case number assigned on the warrant here.
All right, I'll take. You said you have an extra copy? Maybe I misunderstood. Thank you. What I'll do is the clerk will scan it, and we'll give you your copy back, or do you not need this one? Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't know if you have the affidavit. All right. Well, all right. Thank you. We'll on the leave the conditions of release as they are right now, the $5,000 on count one and $1,000 for each of the additional counts. We'll roll it over till tomorrow to see if it needs to be readdressed, either higher or lower, based upon my review of the affidavit plus whatever about hearing about prior criminal history. But I don't have the warrant today, so we'll roll it till tomorrow. If you're still here, you can always post the bond. Do you understand all of that, sir? Okay. Can you afford a lawyer, or do you need the public defender? All right, I'll appoint the public defender. Matt Rosen. You're in custody on a violation or probation, and the bond is no bond. Your lawyer would have to go in front of the judge assigned to the case to try to get you a bond. Can you afford a lawyer, or do you need the public defender? Do you have a private attorney? Okay, and you probably heard me say to the other individual, usually private attorneys don't show up for court on a VOP because I don't have the ability to change the bond anyway on a VOP. So they probably already noticed are going in front of the judge assigned to the case to try to get you a bond hearing. All right, thank you. Next case is Michael Vela. It's an out-of-county warrant. Out of Orange County, will be held at no bond. Orange County will be told to come and get it. All right, is there any other case in Osceola we haven't addressed yet? All right, hopefully the video will be working tomorrow. All right, I'm going to hang up here.
That's when we just waited for parents and just point the PD.
Yeah. No. We didn't appoint the PD. We just rolled it to tomorrow to see if he comes.
No one that was PD.
Yeah. So just to still give him one more chance to show up.
Okay.
But, yeah. Well, put it for Monday.
Put it for Monday?
Yeah, no point in having him for tomorrow because maybe Monday Orange County will have already gotten him. So Mr. Vela, we're going to put for Monday. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm sitting in it. You see me waving? Right here. Oh, you see somebody? Oh, that's the other way. Yeah, so, we're looking at on the side. It needs to be facing us, but the screen is not coming on over here. So I don't know what's going on over there. Can you turn that over there? Turn that on? Okay. You see someone blonde hair. I'm like, okay, he's looking the wrong way.
I'm blocking that camera, so that one goes up there,
Right.
and that one's going to there.
Hello? Hello? Well, we can't see nobody in our shows, so we're trying to get it to work over there. All right. No, I ain't got something. Okay, all right. Okay. Well, we have to, first we gotta get them on RCO so we can see them first, but let's talk to them and we'll see what we can do, okay? All right. Okay, then I'm trying, maybe, is it a button on here we have to mash? No? Okay. Let me hang up with you, Joe, we gotta find somebody to fix it. Okay. There's no button,
Oh, we tried this, says call the AV number.
that's the number. You go get the little lady that I was just talking to. I know I have another number for, it's at my desk. Let me run and get it, and we can call his cell phone. I want to cell phone. 1 second.
If for some reason we can't get, oh, you can go do that.
Okay.
If for some reason that we can't get this up and running, are we able to do Orange County and come back to Osceola County? All right, well, there you go.
Let me know, I'll get them ready and back, but everybody's up there.
How often does this happen when the TVs aren't working?
Every weekend.
Every weekend?
It just happened like this.
Oh, well, I mean, the other backup is Osceola County has it. We can send them if I'm not mistaken, a link for Microsoft Teams because they appear on Teams for us. And when I was down there on occasion, and we might have to do it that way. I mean, it's broadcast. I'm looking at this is broadcast on YouTube. I'm looking right at it. There's a camera on them, and Osceola is broadcasting no problem down there.
They've done it where they just have the speaker on the phone. I mean, it's been an issue for a while. It's something all the time, so. Just those.
Let me see if this will.
They could see how we could do that, so we just want to get it.
I can't get on this. That line is busy. It's not bad. Oh my goodness. Sitting there.
you said you called this AV number here and someone answered the phone and
You can push the speaker, it's the court reporter, she's sitting at that desk. When you call that zero,
that's the court reporter's number?
no, she just sitting in the AD's office doing the recording.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no one there, but I call every number that we got and you know why you can call? Like somebody being and say, hey. I think last time, who was the judge that called? Oh,
I'm sure in my car I have the duty phone. Well, let me see if I have something here.
when they coming up, I'm so sorry. The whole numbers I got, no one is answering. We worked yesterday, and that shouldn't match no, but nothing back here, nothing. Well, yesterday. See the judge because he's not there.
We'll see.
They are. You gotta put on.
Normal.
When you talking, ask him to hear you.
All right, are you able to hear us down in Osceola? Are you, all right. So what do you see in your camera? We're just curious.
It has to come.
I thought I would see. I was trying to see if you'd be able to see my hand if I reached it far enough, but apparently not. All right. Well, here you go.
This is about as close as I can get it.
Oh,
I have to go this way.
I think we'll
No.
just hold up a mirror. You're gonna make. All right.
Everybody's, I'm sorry, they can't see you, but can they hear you?
Well, I guess the important part is that you can hear me, and that's. All right, so I'll have this, and state, you can remain seated, state your name for the record, and then I'll hear from the Assistant Public Defender.
Daniel Horn for the state of Florida.
All right, thank you. When you hear your name, come on up to the podium. The first case is Cheryl Bianchi. As she's coming up to the podium, state, I'm going to ask you what the status of the case is. It's the one she's supposedly out on bond on in 20 CF 3500. Ma'am, can you afford attorney, or do you need me to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you, Ms. Bianchi? All right, thank you. I can barely hear you because of between the distance and the mask, but I heard you say public defender, so I'll appoint them to represent you. There's probable cause to believe that you violated your pretrial release conditions. All right, hold on a moment. So I'm just going to find out from the state what the status of that case is.
Your Honor, that's the wrong case number.
20 CF 3500. Are you looking in Osceola County?
Oh. That's a good point, Judge. Your Honor, the only information I have at this time is that She didn't appear for a preliminary hearing.
But if you all filed charges, is it a domestic case?
The state has not filed yet on that case, Your Honor.
Can you tell? Let's see.
I have no notes or anything from the assigned assistant state attorney. All I see here is that it was received on December 1st. There was a preliminary hearing on 12/18, and it hasn't been filed on yet.
All right, I'm going to talk to you, ma'am, and what I'm talking to you, I'm talking to anyone else who also has a case in which there's a no contact order, and I just want, it's better for me just to spend a couple minutes explaining what it means to avoid any confusion later. And no contact means no contact. Hold on, just listen, because I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to everyone there. There's only one exception. Your lawyer's allowed to defend you. Other than that, there is no exception. As long as the case is open, that means it's no contact. Doesn't mean if the victim invites you over. Doesn't mean if you're trying to do something that you think is good, like sending money or flowers. No contact means no contact. It means no direct contact. It means no indirect contact. No way of sending any messages or any type of information. Violation of the no contact order is typically the quickest way to get someone right back in jail. So there's probable cause to believe offense occurred. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500 with the condition of no contact with Frank Brewer. No contact. If you're picked up again for violation of the no contact order, you can expect that a judge will say there's no conditions of release that could exist to keep the no contact from happening. So if you like the jail, keep violating the no contact order. If you don't like the jail, make sure you have absolutely no contact with Mr. Frank Brewer. So, all right, so your attorney is going to defend you, and that's this. You're going to be released once you post the bond. All right, thank you. No, but that doesn't mean that the state can't seek it. But right, you can post a bond and get out of jail. All right, thank you. The next case is Telmo Cabrera Peralta. All right, so on his case here, there is probable cause, and we'll reset him for tomorrow. Stephen Kelly. This is the one we haven't received the warrant?
Yes, I have.
All right, I need to look up online to see if I can find the warrant on Benchmark. Hold on just a moment.
No? Let me look.
All right, she's got it. She's printing it out now. Have you received a copy of it? Okay. Steve, did you get a copy?
I did not, Your Honor.
You can just print out 2 copies then. Sir, can you afford to hire your own private attorney, or do you need the attorneys at the public defender's office? All right, they'll be appointed to represent you. You're in custody on a warrant that charges you with domestic battery by strangulation, tampering, and battery on a family or household member. Actually, battery. So let me just, I haven't read I'm going to look at the warrant. If it's a warrant that I signed, it'll refresh my recollection as soon as I read it. If it's a warrant someone else signed, I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time reading it.
It's so slow. Oh, my God.
Thank you.
For the state.
while we're waiting for the extra copy to be printed for the state, did you hear me explain what no contact means to the person in front of you? If you could just get a little bit closer to that microphone and speak a little bit louder. Did you hear me explain what no contact? All right. So no contact. The only exception is your lawyer, member of the Florida Bar, the Public Defender's Office. They're the only exception to the no contact order. Otherwise, if you violate the no contact order, you'll be right back in jail. Do you have any belongings where the victim resides? All right. So what happens on these cases where the victim's not present is it's no contact, maintain a separate residence, don't possess any weapons or firearms, don't go to where the victim resides except for one time with law enforcement to collect your belongings. The way that works is you'd go with law enforcement at a place where law enforcement meets you. It'll never be the property, and then they'll accompany you to the property to collect your belongings. So you'll contact law enforcement first. If you just go right to the property, they will arrest you. All right, State, did you have a chance to read it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so on this case here, the arrest warrant establishes the probable cause. The bond on count 1 is going to be, well, let me just, for pretrial services, any prior criminal history for Stephen Kelly? So no charges with the same victim? All right, so what your bond is going to be $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3. After you post the bond, you'll be supervised by pretrial release with the conditions that I mentioned of the no contact, maintain separate residence, no weapons or firearms, can't go to the victim's residence except for one time with law enforcement to collect your belongings. Mr. Kelly, do you understand? Thank you. Next case is Mr. Jesus Montalvo. Mr. Montalvo, can you afford to hire your own lawyer, or do you need the attorneys at the Public Defender's Office? So you want me to appoint the Public Defender, correct? Like if the allegations are, and there's probable cause to believe you possess drug paraphernalia and that you were inside this vehicle here, which are both criminal offenses, you're going to get a bond in this case here, but since these are very similar charges to the case you're out on bond, the conditions of release are going to be revoked in the 2020 CF 3527 case, but on the new case here, the bond is $1,000 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. Don't return to the location of the offense. Do you understand? All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, Judge, what was the bond?
$1,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2, and then his conditions of release are revoked in that other case, but he has an arraignment coming up, I understand, in the next couple of days and a week in the next case, in the other case.
Thank you, Judge.
Next case is Daniel Jose Oyarza Laval Perez. If you could just repeat that a little bit louder, please. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and do the interpreter here. Let's see.
She's there.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter, Laura Arroyo.
All right, the clerk will swear you in.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English and Spanish to the testimony given?
Yes, Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter.
All right, and if any of us, to the interpreter, if any of us start talking too long, that you need to just stop us to start interpreting, just go ahead and start talking, and that'll be the clue for us to stop. All right,
No problem.
Sir, your name, please?
Señor, indique su nombre, por favor. Daniel Orodorzábal.
The allegation is that you committed a battery on a family or household member, as that phrase is defined by law.
La acusación es que usted cometió un acto de agresión física contra un familiar o persona que reside en la misma vivienda, tal como define el artículo de ley.
Can you afford to hire an attorney, or do you need me to appoint the attorneys at the Public Defender's Office to defend you?
Usted puede costearse y contratar un abogado o requiere que yo le designe las oficinas de defensores públicos para que le represente. Yes, could it be the offices of the public defender?
We're here to set conditions of release on the case.
Nos encontramos aquí para fijar las condiciones de libertad con respecto al caso.
So I have to order the following, which are no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence from the victim, don't possess any weapons or firearms, and don't return to where the victim resides except for one time with law enforcement to collect your belongings.
Entonces me toca imponer la siguiente orden. Prohibido ningún tipo de contacto con la víctima, prohibido convivir con la víctima, prohibido la tenencia de armas o armas de fuego, prohibido regresar a la residencia de la víctima, excepto una vez escoltado por un agente policial para recoger sus pertenencias.
And it's very important that you understand that no contact really means no contact. There are no exceptions other than your lawyer is allowed to defend you.
Cuando se le dice a usted prohibido ningún tipo de contacto, es eso, ningún tipo de contacto en absoluto. La única excepción es que su abogado podría hacerlo para defenderle.
And before you return one time with law enforcement, make sure you contact law enforcement to find out the method to return. If you just go directly to the house, the police officers are going to arrest you when they get there.
Y asegúrese de comunicarse y contactarse con la policía para averiguar cuál sería el método de poder regresar a la vivienda, porque si usted mismo intenta regresar a la vivienda, la policía le detendrá a usted.
Those will all be conditions of pre-trial release, but now I need to address the bond amount.
Eso serán todas las condiciones con respecto al régimen de libertad provisional, pero en este momento dado me toca ocuparme ahora de la fianza.
Now, pretrial services Go ahead.
Su señoría, el señor Pérez, no tiene antecedentes penales alguno.
Your bond will be $500. Once you post the bond, you'll be on pretrial release. Keep contact with your lawyer so they can defend you properly. Do you understand?
La fianza será $500. Una vez que usted logra depositar la fianza, estará libre bajo programa de libertad provisional y mantenga comunicación con su abogado para que le pueda defender. ¿Entendido? Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. And to the interpreter, can you inquire from anyone else there if they need your services?
Yes. ¿Hay alguien más en el público que va a requerir un intérprete en español?
All right, so to the interpreter, we'll be with you in a little bit on the Orange County cases.
Yes, Ron, do you want me to hold on and be connected, or would you like me to disconnect and you call me?
Disconnect, please. Thank you for asking. Next case is George Rivera. George Rivera, you're wanted out of Marion County. The bond is no bond. Marion County will be told to come and pick you up. Do you need me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to assist you? All right, so the Public Defender's Office here will assist you until they pick you up to go to Marion County. Once you go to Marion County, you'll have to ask for the Public Defender's Office there if you don't already have that. Make sense? One of the things of having the Public Defender Office appointed here is they can look into that for you. I don't have any information about Marion County, but the Public Defender can always get that information from up there and if it's true, cause the warrant to be set aside and have you released. But I can't do that today. All right, thank you. Richie Scotty. There's probable cause to believe you committed a battery on a family or household members. That phrase is defined by law, and carrying a concealed firearm. Can you afford a lawyer, or do you need me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to assist you? All right, the public defender will be appointed. Did you hear me explain how no contact works and how there's no exception other than your lawyer can defend you? Did you hear me say that? All right, and so you probably saw that first case that I had today where someone violated the no contact order. So that's a great example of what happens when someone violates it. So to be clear, don't violate it. All right, also you have to, well, hold on one moment. I'll let you talk to your lawyer in just a second, but it's the no contact, maintain a separate residence, no weapons or firearms, can't go to the victim's residence except for one time with law enforcement, as I explained. So I'm going to hear about any prior criminal history before I set the bond amount, but those will be conditions of pretrial release, but I don't want you to say anything that will hurt your case, so your attorney can press the mute button and find out what you're trying to say to the best of her ability. Well, just hold on a second so that I just told our lawyer to stop listening, so I don't want to make her multitask here. All right, were you able to answer his question? All right, so now pretrial services, any priors? All right, so on this case here, the bond is going to be $500 on count one, $1,000 on count two, then you'll be on pretrial release with the conditions that I mentioned. Do you understand, sir? All right. Next case is Catherine Velasquez. Ms. Velasquez, you're wanted out of Lee County. Lee County will be told to come and pick you up. They should pick you up in the next couple days. Do you want me to appoint the public defender's office here in the meantime, knowing that once you get to Lee County, you might have to ask for their public defender? All right, I'll go ahead and do that. All right, thank you. The next case is Thaddeus Williams. All right, Mr. Williams, it's alleged that you committed a petty theft with 2 prior convictions. It's further alleged that you possessed MDMA and that you possessed drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause to believe the offense occurred. Let's see, does he qualify for straight pretrial release? And if not, why? He does not. Okay, what's his prior criminal history? Now, you have a note on this first appearance sheet that he's out on open legal constraint. What is that? All right, so your bond is going to remain $1,000 on count 1, $2,000 on count 2, and $500 on count 3. Do you understand? Okay, I can't remember if I asked you, can you afford a lawyer, or do you need me to appoint the public defender to defend you? All right, they'll be appointed. Thank you, sir. Next case is Jose Daniel Ramos, or Ramos.
Yes.
Yes. Did Mr. Jose Ramos? Thank you. Sir, how do you pronounce your last name, please? Thank you. The allegation is that you committed a petty theft with priors. And then the reason why they haven't been letting you post your bond is because that you have an outstanding case, which you're out on bond on a petty theft and criminal mischief in 2020 CF 3201. There is, let's see, there's probable cause at least the theft occurred, and therefore your bond is going to be $1,000, and the other case is what's going to hold you in jail because now there's probable cause to believe this offense occurred. The conditions of release in 2020 CF 3201 are revoked, and you're going to have to go back in front of the judge assigned to that case to try to get you a bond again. Do you understand? If you get a little bit closer, I couldn't tell what you said. Okay, thank you. The Public Defender's Office will be representing you in both of the cases. All right, thank you. Last name Studemeyer. We rolled this over from yesterday, and one of the things we didn't address yesterday because Mr. Studemeyer wasn't here, was that I didn't see in the report how the officer determined the location was within 1,000 feet of a park. I don't. Maybe you see it in there, to the prosecutor. There's still a clearly probable cause for 3 separate charges, but on that particular one, I didn't.
I don't see that either.
What's that?
I don't see that either. So
you don't see anything? All right.
Is there a lesser included, maybe, Your Honor? We could.
What I'm going to, there's still probable cause, like for 3 separate charges. I found probable cause yesterday for 3 separate charges. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bond amounts where they are instead of revoking the condition of release in the 20 CF 2174 case. So they'll allow you, I don't know if you can post the bond. If you can at least try now. They've been holding you at no bond based upon you being out on bond in that 20 CF 2174. That doesn't mean the state can't ask the judge to revoke the conditions of release in that other case, but I'm not doing it today. Do you understand all of that? All right, you have a public defender representing you. Thank you. Dennis Wilson.
So you took no action on the case?
Right.
I don't, okay. And you wasn't appealing?
All right, Mr. Wilson's case, we rolled it from yesterday because I wanted to see the arrest warrant, and now that I've read the arrest warrant, I'm going to make the following change to conditions of release. Count 1 is going to remain $5,000. Count 2 is going to remain $1,000. Count 3 and 4 and 5 are going to remain $1,000, but the remaining counts are all going to be $150. So it's $5,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, and then $150, $150, $150, $150, $150, $150, $150. Seven. It was $16,000 before, and now I've just reduced it $850 times 7, so around $6,000 less. Did you say? The sound quality isn't the best. Since the assistant public defender is closer to the microphone, to a microphone, can you just tell me what he said? Okay, well then that's good. All right, so you have the public defender's office will represent you. And all right, thank you, sir. Is there any other case in Osceola that we missed? All right, thank you. All right, have a good day.